Story number 1. My boyfriend 19 meters became very religious and called me 18F a dirty sinner because I'm sleeping with him. My boyfriend 19M and I 18F have been dating for about 2 years now, and everything was going well until he started to change. Before I met him, his dad sadly passed away from cancer when he was just 14 years old. He always told me he had regrets about not being with his dad during his last moments, but that he had made peace with it. However, I never imagined it would lead to what's happening now. When we first started dating, he wasn't religious at all. He rarely brought up God or religion in any serious way, and we both lived our lives pretty freely. But over time, he became more and more focused on faith to the point that it now consumes most of his life. We're in a long-distance relationship, and naturally, when we see each other after weeks, or even a month apart, we try to make up for the time lost. However, he started refusing intimacy in bed. At first, I didn't think much of it because I knew I was his first girlfriend, and he had told me before that he was a little insecure. But I didn't think it would get to the point where we completely stopped being intimate for 6 months. At first, I thought maybe he didn't find me attractive anymore, and I ended up crying to him about it. He assured me that wasn't the case, but nothing changed. The next time I brought it up, he told me he'd do it when he feels like it, and asked me to be patient. I understand that people aren't always in the mood for sex, but 6 months straight. It felt like something deeper was going on. Last night, we had a conversation about our future to see if we're on the same page, especially since we live in different cities. That's when he told me that living together in the future would bring us closer to God, but that we wouldn't be sleeping together anymore. He said having sex was dirtying his soul. He also told me he doesn't want to marry me yet because he doesn't feel spiritually ready, and we should continue our relationship without intimacy for the foreseeable future. That broke me. This is a man who has been by my side through so much, and now he's calling me a sinner for wanting intimacy in our relationship. He told me I was dirtying his soul because I convinced him to have sex with me in the first place, even though he was the one who wanted to do it first. On top of that, he started pressuring me into being a future housewife. He doesn't like the idea that I want to have my own money and work, and he's made it clear he expects me to be completely dependent on him. This is something I've tried to talk to him about, but he insists that it's the godly way for women to live, and that I'm not being a good Christian for wanting my independence. I don't feel comfortable staying in a relationship with someone who constantly tells me I'm a dirty sinner and who doesn't respect my dreams for the future, but I would feel bad to leave him. It feels like all the love and effort I've poured into this relationship is meaningless to him now, as if everything we've shared is just sin in his eyes. He keeps saying it's for my own good, and that I need to accept it, but it's exhausting. Lately, he's become obsessed with reading the Bible and has started trying to push his beliefs on me. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, but he constantly finds ways to tell me I'm not a true Christian, and says I'll end up in hell if I don't change. Religion helped him deal with his dad's death, and I've always admired how strong it made him. But now it feels like it's consuming him and turning him into someone I can't recognize, and I'm not ready to love such a person. But I feel like he needs me the most now to help him with his trauma. Story number 2. My husband M27, giving me F26 an ultimatum: move home or divorce. My husband M27 and I F26 have been trying for a kid for a couple of months now. I moved to the US for several years ago, and we live in a pretty urban area, but it's not a big city. He's a small town kid, like 3,000 people in his entire town. When I moved from my home country, I made it very clear that I would never want to live there, partly because of my career in business and partly because I just don't want to live in a tiny town. So we live about 2 hours from his family by car. We live 15 hours from mine by plane. My parents were here for Christmas, and we've had some tensions because of our family before. My family is really caring and has helped us a lot as we got started in life, buying us dishes, helping pay bills while we were in school. They're super involved, inviting us on vacations and planning things for us all together. When we got married, my parents were a huge help just in organizing everything. His family chooses not to. And I don't mean help financially, but they don't come see us often. When my parents come and visit, they bring stuff from my home country that I miss. But my mom also brings things that she thinks I would like. This year she brought me a China Christmas dish set, which I love. He gets upset about her doing things like that and tells me he doesn't like our interior decor, and that he doesn't get to choose anything. This time, he was very rude to my parents, choosing to spend time with friends or just not talking to them. My dad even made a comment that they should have left early, but I didn't think too much about it. The day my parents left, he dropped the bomb on me that he doesn't want to try for a kid right now. He said he wasn't in a place mentally to do so and wanted to see a therapist. To me, it came out of nowhere. We had been trying for months and I want to be a mother so badly. I was upset and cried, but I told him I appreciated that he told me, and that I was upset, but not mad. Me being upset caused me to be pulled back, which he then decided to go down to his family for the weekend. Usually we go down together, but this time he didn't even ask me. He told me he'd be back that same night, but then messaged later and said that because of the snow, the roads were too bad to come home. I can see his location on Find My and saw that he was at a bar in town, which upset me. Because if you can drive to the bar, you can drive home, right? Anyways, he didn't come back until almost 8 p.m. on Sunday, and we just didn't talk. We have barely spoken all week. Yesterday, I came home after work and was upset, so I read one of my books in bed. He was in the living room, and I heard him talking to his mom and some friends later about how he was excited to go down that weekend and what they were going to do. I got mad because I felt like I hadn't done anything and was upset, and he was fine with just ignoring me. So I left the house, didn't say anything, which probably wasn't great, and just drove around. Went to Barnes and Noble for a bit. When I got back home around 10:30 p.m., he was in bed already. I had been crying, so I decided to sleep on the couch. I couldn't calm down, and he eventually came in asking if we could talk. I told him I didn't feel like it, but he said it was important. Then he told me he wanted to move home. He misses his family and wants to live closer. I can't remember how exactly he phrased it, but the thought was, either you get on board or we're going out separate ways. We've been together for almost 8 years, and I have always been so clear about that not being an option for me, and he has always said he felt the same way. No, he is telling me he wants to buy land and own horses and cows, and it might be best if we call it quits, because we want different things. I'm heartbroken. I have cried all night and tried to make this make sense. Every time I bring up that I'm even further from my parents, he just tells me that he doesn't care. He wants to go back to his family. Am I insane? Is he just a big mama's boy and I never realized? I'm wondering if he might be claiming this as a reason, but he actually has someone else. I have also gained a lot of weight in the last 2 years. Is that it? I can't figure it out and I don't know how to move forward. I asked him to stay here today so we could talk about it. That he said he needs space to think, and he promised his little brother to watch his ball game. To my comment that he promised me for better or for worse, he didn't have anything to say. I love my husband. We don't always see eye to eye, but he is the love of my life. I don't understand what is going on. Any advice is appreciated. I'm heartbroken and just pray that there is a way to fix this marriage. Please tell me if I am delusional and it is my fault.
Story number 3. My girlfriend 22F went to the movies with her supervisor 30 and then back to his place. Am I being too trusting by choosing to stay with her? So me M22 and my GF22M have been together since junior year of high school. I was her first relationship and she was my second. I was previously in a 3-year relationship from middle school to high school. I've always only cared for serious long-term stuff. Everything has been going really good. We both are in college at the same college and don't really fight or anything. Recently, as we are getting closer to graduation, both of us have started getting internships. She got a software developer internship, which is related to her degree and has been liking it. They rotate team leads every now and then. Her new team lead 3 for him, she got really close to and told me things like he reminds me of you. They starting running together after work as we both like to run and signed up for some races that are upcoming. It then progressed to them going to eat once. I didn't mind, as she doesn't seem like the person to ever cheat or anything. Then one day I checked her location, then called her to tell her about my run or something exciting. I saw she finished an hour ago but was still there. So I called to make sure everything was okay. Then she didn't answer. Like 20 minutes after that she calls me to tell me she is going to eat with her friend that doesn't live anywhere near her job. I thought it was weird but didn't think anything of it. She asked me if I wanted food and I said no. 30 seconds later she calls me and tells me she was lying and that she was going to eat with her team lead. I was shocked and questioned why she would lie to me. She said that she didn't want me to get mad or anything. I am not a jealous person and am very understanding. I made little joking comments about her and him, and she tried to say that's why she didn't want to tell me. Fast forward, our 5-year anniversary is coming up and we planned for Saturday. A day before she asked me if we could move it to Sunday because she was going to go with her 2 other interns that she is friends with to the movies. I was like, you're sure I don't mind. I thought it was weird as they have to drive like 30 to 40 minutes to get over where her job is and where they were going. But I thought maybe they just were good friends, so it makes sense, I guess. I spend my whole day busy with my stuff, then around 10 check her location because we Discord screen share watch stuff at night. I noticed she was at an apartment complex, which I thought was weird, but figured it was one of her intern friends. She's told me about them and shown me pictures of them, so I know they are real. Then I remembered they don't live over there. I look up her supervisor's name, find his LinkedIn. After some research, I find out it's his address, which was public listed on a website. I can't believe my eyes, like it felt like a dream. Then I check on it every 30 minutes. She ends up being there from 10 p.m. to like 12:30 a.m. It could have been longer, that was just when I checked. I wait till the next day to confront her about it and don't speak with her even when she calls or texts me around 1 p.m. I was playing on Discord with my friends and just used that to avoid contact. She comes over to bring me our 5-year anniversary presents, which she went above and beyond in terms of her arts and crafts ability. I confront her about it, bring up everything I had questions about. I tried asking questions her on the phone when she was on her way to see if she would tell me. She avoided telling me. I asked things like, did your friends like the movie? And what did you guys do after? She told me that after the movies she went with her coworkers to the Cheesecake Factory, then to her team lead's place as he invited all of them. I questioned her about his presence as I didn't remember hearing his name when she told me about her plans of going. She tried to pass it off as if I didn't pay attention or forgot. I call her out on it and have to really fight for the truth to come out. She eventually ends up telling me she went by herself with her coworker to the movies and then back to his place. This was after 20 minutes of asking questions. Then I proceeded to talk for another 40 minutes, questioning her to see if I could get more truth out of her if she was still lying. She told me she didn't do anything and that he was just a good friend, etc. I went off on her, telling her that the lies and stuff just made everything 10 times worse, on top of the fact I had to really get it out of her. It seems that she wouldn't have told me and would have hid it from me if I never caught her or questioned anything. I tried to look past it and went out to eat for our anniversary and spent some time with her at my place. My brain just can't look past it though. I feel so off because I don't know if I am doing the right thing. I eventually told her I need some time to process everything and have had 2 days so far with no contact. I saw myself marrying her and have kids with her. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do. I never considered breaking up or anything, but now I don't know. I just really need some input. Thoughts on everything. I've been telling myself I really believe she didn't do anything, but I don't know if that's the truth or if I am just coping. I don't really want to go telling or asking people I know because if I stay with her, I don't want people thinking bad of her. Please don't feel the need to leave anything out. I really need some advice, input here. Thank you.
Story number 4. My boyfriend, I'm 29 of 4 years, just told me at 27 he doesn't see himself marrying me. My boyfriend of 4 years told me he doesn't see himself marrying me. He told me he hasn't had that I want to marry you feeling. But in the same breath will tell me he loves me and wants to be with me for right now. He claims there's nothing I did, that there's nothing he can pick out about me that does not check his boxes. But BC he hasn't had that grand giant feeling he doesn't want to continue after the lease, but wants to be together now. I feel like he is my person and I want to be a partner with him forever. We're currently in the same apartment and now living in separate rooms. Am I too blinded to see the reality that he'll never be with me? Or is he just confused and missing the bigger picture and overlooking what is happening? I moved out and basically moved across the country. Within a week, he called me asking me to come home. He misses me. He has no purpose. He's never felt so alone in his life. Told him if he wants me to come back, he needed to come get me then and show me. He buys a plane ticket that night and comes back and gets me within 24 hours of that phone call. Now a year later, another move together into a new place and he drops this on me. I feel like I'm crazy for thinking when he came and got me that was his I wanna live my life with this girl moment. But maybe I'm just trying to justify and find a reason as to try and have him stay. I feels like he wants me to be a placeholder until someone else comes around. For a little backstory, he is not an openly emotional person. He thinks very black and white with logic, and he is not expressive in emotional feelings to a point he himself has admitted he may be on the autism spectrum because his brain doesn't work like a normal person. A year ago he broke up with me.